Alright. We're starting the tour right now. Let me unpause this. This is Secret of Secrets. This is the latest book by Dan Brown. Happens all in Prague, pretty much. And I'll try to do a tour of all the places Robert Langdon went without giving too much away. And but you know, there may be a spoiler or two. So if you want to read the book and then watch this after, you can. All right. This is Prague, basically. That's Old Town, just above, past the river. And we're gonna start at the Four Seasons Hotel. That's where Robert Langdon wakes up in the morning, and we'll take it up from there. He usually wakes up about just before 5, and then he goes for a swim. And that's exactly what he does here too. Although, you know, people like that upset me. You know, it's a vacation time. Don't, you know, work out on your own damn time, right? Not on vacation time, so. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can find Four Seasons. I think that was it. We passed it. Let's go back. My apologies. There's too many bridges here. So, let's go back to the Four Rivers Hotel. I'll try to do this. I'm getting a little bit better at a helicopter, and I found out what happened last time when I was doing the Vatican tour and went up and I lost control. It's my rudders. So right there, that's the Four Seasons Hotel right here. And Langdon wakes up here in the morning, and then he goes for a swim. So let's try to follow his footsteps. So he wakes up and takes the Charles Bridge. This bridge right here is the Charles Bridge to go to the Strahov swimming pool. Now he notices there's a lot of things he notices on the bridge, because Prague is an amazing town. And then he goes through this gate right here, and that's kind of important. Well, it's an important landmark in Prague. But yeah, he definitely mentions it. It's kind of far. Well, maybe not far, but you got to go up this hill to get to the Strahov pool. So in the book it says that he walks. So I guess that's a pretty brisk walk. Maybe, what was it, 1.2 kilometers or something. So we'll get there pretty soon. It's right at the top here. Everything is very close. The whole tour is going to take about 30 minutes or so, depending on how I'm flying. You know, I'm trying not to fly too fast, not lose control of this helicopter. So basically, he comes through here, and this is a sports arena, and the Strahov pool is right here in that sports arena. So he comes here for a swim right at 6 o'clock. And then usually swims for about 20 minutes or so. Of course, you know, not ideal for Microsoft Flight Simulator, but that's what the, you know, it's improving. It's improving. Maybe in 5 years, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2029 or whenever next one comes out, well, it'll be even better. So anyway, he takes a swim and he goes back to the hotel, and then we'll go back to the hotel and start from there again. Because again, I'm not trying to give too much away here, but that's where the chase begins. When he gets back, something happens on the bridge, and he actually jumps out of the window. But yeah, he walks through this old, you know, not Old Town, but Prague, and then gets back to the hotel. And believe it or not, at least according to the book, he jumps out of a window and into the river. So let's see. It's a second-story window. My guess is probably this one right here, because that one will make it into the river. So he jumps from there back in the river, and then he's actually pulled down the river, but he manages to somehow make it to the edge, because there's actually a waterfall that could have killed him over there. Anyway, so and from this point is where the Czech FBI picks him up, whatever they call CZ. My apologies. And then they take him to the Crucifix Bastion. Crucifix Bastion is a little bit further down the road, and let me take you there. You know, I'm going to try to climb a little bit higher so we see Prague a little better. And again, my rudders are not ideal. It's not too long of a flight. We'll be there in about 1 minute or so. Actually, we can speed up a little. There's one thing I do want to point out on the way here. They do pass by this building. I forgot what it's called. It's got a that building right there at the edge. It's got the nice curvature. It's like one of those modern art buildings in Prague. So from here, let's go to the Crucifix Bastion. The Crucifix Bastion was I guess an old castle or something back there. Please don't quote me on that. There's a lot of details in the book, and that's where the lab is. So right there, right on top of that hill. I'll try to see if I can get the helicopter, slow it down right there, that green part. Yeah. Right there. That's the Crucifix Bastion right underneath us. And that is the entrance right there. To the, apparently to the lab. And this is where the chase kind of begins. From this point. It goes down to the Follwing Park, which is the park. It goes down this hill. It's pretty steep. Well, in VR you can see how steep it is, but maybe not in there. Past the fountain. There's the fountain. And then he picks up a taxi, I believe, here with Sasha right on the street. Okay. So then he picks up a taxi and they go to Sasha's apartment. Sasha is one of the assistants at the lab. So again, this is Follwing Park, and that's the Crucifix Bastion. So let's see if we can find Sasha's apartment. They're not very clear of where it is, but they do take the taxi and they get off at Halvatska Market. And Halvatska Market, it's let's see if I can find it. I mean, look at this maze. It all looks the same, right? So let's go find one street in this maze. And again, it's in the old town. Now, as far as I remember, they get off at Halvat's Market, and the only thing that's noted about her apartment is that the apartment is at a 2 blocks from the market. I believe this one of these streets down here is a market. Basing it off of that church, off of that cathedral. That may be too far. So basically this is where Sasha's apartment is, and that's where she's living. I think that's Halvatska Market down there. Yeah, right down here. So basically within a 2 block, oh no, it's right there. There you go. That's Halvatska Market, I think. Yeah, I mean, trust me, it's very, very hard to find. But this is it right here. That street right there with those tents, that's the Market Street. And she's within 2 blocks of here. Okay, so from this point on, he kind of splits off and goes to the tower. Petrine Tower. Oh, shoot. Almost lost it there, sorry. Okay. Alright, so I had to look to find out the name of the tower. So from this point, he goes to the Petrine Tower, and the Petrine Tower is kind of back to where the Strahov pool was just before it. It's actually that tower over there. So we'll go over there, and I'll show you what Langdon was looking at when he got there. This was actually a decoy in the book, and I don't want to give too much away, but he was sent there to kind of distract him from doing something. But I think Dan Brown used it brilliantly, because he kind of, from this point on, you're going to see the majesty of Prague, I guess. So that is the Petrine Tower. It's, I think, a 300-foot tower or something like that. And he climbs it. There's nothing that happens here other than he climbs it and describes the view of Prague from this point. So let's see if I can steady this helicopter enough here to show. Basically, he shows the view of Prague right here, and you can kind of see the whole city, right? And I guess if you live in Prague, you're lucky that you're able to do that. I'm not sure. Next thing to point out is a small little blue building right there, right next in front of the. Let me see if I can turn it around without doing too much damage to the helicopter. You see this red roof, orange roof building just in front of it? There's a blue building hiding behind, right there under the trees, and that is the mirror maze. And he goes through that mirror maze. Okay. From that point, and you can't see it, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. He kind of goes back to close to the hotel, the what's it called? The Clementium Gallery. It's the National Library of the Czech Republic, and that's where the book was being displayed, the Devil's Bible at that time. Devil's Bible, I believe, is usually displayed in Sweden or somewhere else, but it was on loan. And but a big part of it, that's where he finds his friend hiding, and it's this building right here with that tower. Let me see, make sure I don't hit anything here. Ooh, okay, there we go. There we go. It's that building right there, right between those two towers. Make sure I don't hit it. And that's the Clementium. That's where the Devil's Bible is displayed in Prague at that time. So I told you everything is kind of close here. I mean, that's right next to his hotel, right next to the bridge. So almost. And then let me make sure. I'm just checking where we go next, because there's a lot of places. I kind of try to make notes. So from that point, he goes to the American Embassy, or excuse me, Ambassador's residence. So he takes a taxi from Clementium, which is right here, over the Manusev Most, which is the Manusev Bridge, which is this one, just north of the Charles Bridge we went over. Charles Bridge, I think it's pedestrian only, and this one is for cars. And then they goes to they take a right over here, and they go to the ambassador's residence. All right. And this is another one of those that's kind of tricky to find. It's in this area, and I'll try to find it. The exact building. Again, I'm pretty good as a, with orientation in my head. I kind of know where I am at all times, especially when flying. It helps, but again, you're talking about a huge city, and you're trying to find one specific building in that huge city. It's right here somewhere. Huh? Maybe I will, maybe I won't find it. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I think that's it, right there. Okay, yeah, that's the one. Yep, that's the building right here. This palace-looking thing is the U.S. ambassadorial residence in Prague, right here, and it's got. It's pretty amazing. And that's another thing about Dan Brown books is he kind of describes these places, and you kind of go Google them and or Chat GPT them, and then you see how they are. So, all right. From this point, he actually goes to a dripstone wall. I mean, a city like Prague that's been around for a long time is going to have a lot of stuff. If you're like Dan Brown, you're going to try to use as many points, as many historical points in the city, or as many interesting points in the city as you can. So from the ambassadorial residence, he goes back to the dripping wall. Let's see if we can find the dripping wall. Again, we're looking for like one specific place in town, and this is going to be kind of hard. Okay, it's around here. Let me just kind of orient. I may have gone too far here. Just want to turn it around. Actually, let's keep going around here, and then I'll find it. Yep, there it is. Okay, I found it. I was just right over it, and that's why I knew I had gone a little bit too far, because it's right over it. So let's go to the dripping wall. It's apparently this amazing wall where, although nothing specific is there, people see like bones and skulls, and it's right in front of this garden right here, right there. Let's see if we can get right next to it. Right there. And even in Microsoft Flight Simulator, I mean, you can kind of see the that's it right there. That's the dripping wall. Alright, there we go. Make sure I don't hit anything. So, yep. And I think there's a monastery here, or a church. So, yeah. That's the dripping wall, of course. Again, everything's happening within like a 2-3 mile radius. And then from the dripping wall, they kind of go to the finale. Well, almost the finale, which happens back at Bastion, Crucifix Bastion, but more importantly, Follwing Park. What happened at Follwing Park, apparently during the 60s, the Soviets built a bunker that was supposed to house important people if there was a nuclear war. So you go in there, they had their own ventilation, they had their, they were pretty well protected, and it's all underground. And in this book, obviously, this was used to set up a lab for some of the experiments they were doing. And in the end, I'm not going to say what happens, but yeah, that area is used. And there's one point I just want to show once we get there. Again, I'm trying to control this. We're almost done. We just got a couple more things to see. Maybe 5 minutes or so. Okay, Bastion Tower is right there. We're back where we started. And then under here is actually, I should have kind of stopped here. Let me go back, because he kind of describes very carefully how he gets to this area. So he takes this street and comes to this corner right here, and he follows this wall, goes into the bastion, and enters the lab that's underneath through the bastion. So basically, lab or fallout shelter, whatever it was, it's all under here. It is to this day. It's not open, but there are marks that commemorate it, and so it's all under here. And there's one good big point here. There's one ventilation shaft. Yeah, I went in. There's one ventilation shaft that is still there, and it's a pretty big mark because it kind of looks domed, and somebody here painted the R2D2 stuff on it, so it looks like R2D2. And even in it's kind of hidden here. Let me see if I can show it. It's behind these trees. Let me see if I can get to the other side. You can kind of see it. Let me see if I can get to the other side. Don't go. Yeah, it's right there. You can see it. Control it, control it, control it, control it, control it. Control it. There we go. There you go. Right behind that tree. See? That's where the R2D2 is. And that is actually used in the book right there, right? Sorry, I didn't. Should have flown it better, but that's used in the book in the end. And this is where the finale happens, or the big finale, because there's always like a couple of things that happen in Dan Brown books. You have a big finale, and then you have a big revelation. So that's where the big finale happens, and then the revelation happens later. So this is kind of where it ends, but there are another point I want to show, because it was mentioned in the book. Robert didn't go to it during the book, but he kind of paused back on it. He went there the day before, right? So he had visited the day before, so it's kind of makes a good part in the book. And it's the Prague Castle and the cathedral, like Vitali Hall, whatever it's called, where the lecture was held. And it's a pretty big mark. Actually, let me go higher here so you can see how big it is. It's a city in itself. Again, we're back to the that's Four Seasons right there, obviously. Clementium, bridges, and right there, see where the cathedral is? That whole part up there is the Prague Castle. And it was right on top of this hill. Well defensible, obviously. You can see how why it was built there. So I know I flew over it once. I didn't mention it, but and there was a reason for it. I wanted to wait for it until the end. But yeah, this is the Prague Castle. Talks about the streets, about the towers, about the cathedral, and about the, I think Vitali Hall is inside the cathedral. Pretty nice. Let's see if I can put this down there. And that's it. That's the tour, guys. Go read the book. It's pretty interesting. Very good, interesting stuff. You know, take it with a grain of salt, because it is Dan Brown. He kind of takes one idea and expands a lot on it, but you know, like, makes his memory run wild. But it's a pretty good book. So let's see if I can bring it down. Oh, I made it. All right, cool. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll see you guys soon.